Hello everyone, this is Pablo again with Crafties915, and today we're going to do a comparison between the white toner transfers like this one and this one, and the direct to film transfers like this one, the DTF, and this one. And so both have their advantages depending on the application, depending on the artwork that you're going to be using. And so as I'm applying these transfers, I will explain to you what the differences are and the similarities, and what the advantages are over one over the other. So if you want to learn the differences between DTF, direct to film transfers, and white toner transfers, then stick around. Okay, and so white toner transfers are great when you are using halftones with a lot of intricate detail like this one. I like to use the white toner transfer because the printing retains a lot of the detail, and when you transfer it over to the t-shirt, most of the detail is transferred onto your t-shirt. And so I like to use the white toner transfers for that. I also like to use them when you're gonna knock out the black background. For example, this one is a shirt that I'm gonna make for myself, and this is the album cover art for the Iron Maiden Senjutsu album, their latest one. If you're a fan of Iron Maiden, I strongly suggest that you buy it or you download it. But on transfers like this, where you can knock out the black background and transfer this onto a black shirt, the white toner transfer cannot be beat. The feel of it is very comparable to the screen print, and so I like to use white toner transfers for that. However, when it comes to printing something that has a lot of solid color, then, like for example, something like this, then the direct to film transfers are great because the feel on the shirt is good. It is not comparable to screen print. Definitely there's a heavier feel. It feels more like printed vinyl, in my opinion. There's people that say that they can get it to feel as good as a screen print, but I haven't found a transfer that feels like that. But the durability of this solid transfer compared to the durability of something similar on white toner, this one is a lot more durable. The direct to film, the DTF transfer, is a lot more durable. The washability, it can last up to 50 and more washes, whereas something like this, something solid like this on a white toner transfer, you're looking at that transfer cracking within the first 10 washes. And so for something like this, where I can knock out a background, a color, I love the white toner transfer. And on transparencies, like on areas that have opacity, it gives you this halftone effect, this rasterizing. They call it rasterizing effect, but it's like a halftone effect, and it gives you that effect. And that's what I love about the the white toner transfers. You know, that right there is like a halftone effect. You know, something that I had to do on Photoshop myself to create that effect. I had to do a halftone effect on Photoshop. And so each method, each transfer has its advantages over the other. Solid blotches of ink, the DTF is a lot better. Halftones and images where you can knock out one color, then definitely the white toner transfer. And so let me transfer those onto a t-shirt, and you know, we'll compare the differences once they are applied. And so the first application that I'm going to perform is the direct to film, the DTF. And so I have my heat press set to 310 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm preheating this garment. It's a Bella Canvas soft style 100% cotton shirt. And the time on this and for both transfers is going to be similar. I'm going to set my timing on this one for 20 seconds for the direct to film. So preheat it to take the moisture out and to iron out any wrinkles. And then once this is pressed, we're gonna let it sit for a while until cool. You know, what I like to use is a small evaporative cooler to cool it down, or you can just leave it on the table and let it cool down by itself. Because I am in my garage and it is very hot. I am going to wait probably about 2 or 3 minutes for it to completely cool down. So that one is done. Then the next one is going to be the LeBron James shirt. And that shirt is going to be a mixed media shirt, meaning that I am using not only a white toner transfer, but also Caesar metal heat transfer vinyl. And if you've never used Caesar metal heat transfer vinyl, I recommend it. It is a very soft vinyl. It feels like a foil, and it's very durable. You don't have to, you know, make any special settings on your blade. You know, you can use the regular Caesar settings that you have on your machine, and press it like that. And so for that, because I am using a mixed media transfer, I'm going to measure the crown and then his portrait to see where I'm going to be placing that. And so that's going to be around right there. The pressure on my machine is, if you noticed, it's firm to heavy. So medium to heavy or firm to heavy, however you want to word it. And it's going to be pressed for the same amount of time, 30 seconds. There's some people who press the direct-to-film for 20 seconds. You know, 20 seconds is sufficient, but since I have my setting for 30 seconds for both of these, you know, those 10 extra seconds won't hurt it. So now that I have these pressed, we will let them cool down. And then we'll come back to the final press. Okay, and to speed up the process, cooling these down, I'm using my portable evaporative cooler. And I'm doing this for about, I want to say about 30 seconds. Let it cool down enough. The more you let it cool down, the cooler it is. The better it is to peel off the backing. And so this one is done. And now I'm going to do this one. This is a Father's Day gift for one of my friends who loves to grill. Tell him he loves to grill and chill. And so, you know, about the same time, about 30 seconds for it to cool down. Okay, now once that is done, we're going to peel it off. Okay, so let's do this one first. Let's peel off the backing sheet. And I committed one of the cardinal sins of white toner transfer printing, and that is that I did not trim my edges off. And so for those of you that are familiar with white toner printing, when you don't trim the edges off, there is some adhesive that is you know, left behind, you know, some residue that is left behind on the edges of the paper that you definitely need to trim off, otherwise it's going to transfer to your shirt. And so if you notice along this edge, there's some tape or some, not tape, some adhesive residue that I needed to trim off. And so I'm lucky that it's only on this side and not the whole thing. Okay, so there's my image for the white toner transfer. And now notice that, you know, how, you know, the backing paper, the backing sheet kind of, you know, stuck to the, you know, to the image, you know, the shirt. And that's because, you know, there's a lot of little detail that is being transferred onto the shirt. And, you know, you need a lot of consistent pressure on that. Okay, and so I did it on my Heat Press Nation signature press, which, you know, it's a good heat press for heat transfer vinyl and for DTF, but when it comes to white toner transfer, definitely the other heat press, you know, the DK20S, has more consistent heat applied all over. And so that's why it gave me a little bit of trouble, you know, peeling the backing sheet off. But it wasn't that bad. I just need to correct this. And the way I'm going to correct this is by using this tape, which is heat tape. This heat tape is very handy. If you do sublimation, you're familiar with it. But if you don't, I highly recommend that you get yourself a roll, because it comes very handy. And you can get it, you know, anywhere where you buy your heat press supplies. Okay, so that is going to be fixed when I do the second press. Now on this one, the DTF, one of the advantages of DTF is that when you peel off, I mean, it peels off like butter. And just look at that. No drag. Peeled off cleanly. And so that's one of the advantages of using the DTF. So this one is ready to get a final press done. We'll do it for about 10 seconds, and then we'll do this one for about 15 to 20 seconds because I need to remove that adhesive line from there. Okay, so I'm ready to do my second press on this. This time I'm not using my Teflon sheet. This time I'm using parchment paper, because if you use a Teflon sheet to do the final finishing press on a white toner transfer, you're going to get that transferred onto the Teflon sheet and you're going to ruin it. So use non-stick parchment paper for the finishing press. And here we go. I'm going to do it for about 20 seconds. That's going to activate the adhesive underneath that heat tape enough for me to pull it off and correct that mistake. And that's a mistake that if you're not used to white toner transfers, that most of you are going to make. And there we go. That removed it. Just let me show it to you. It removed that adhesive. Okay. So that is done as far as the white toner transfer being transferred onto there. What I am going to do now is I'm going to transfer the crown, and this is done with, like I said, the Caesar metal. I'm going to transfer the crown there, but I'm going to cut around this image right here so as not to press directly on top of the white toner transfer. And so now it's not going to lift it up. If if I press it just like that without trimming, but why chance it? Okay, there we go. And now we place our parchment sheet on top. Press for 20 seconds. And that foil, that scissor metal foil, requires that it cools down completely before you remove it. Okay, so you're gonna wait another, a minute or two for it to cool down. That's now 20 seconds. So we're gonna set it aside, let it cool. And now the DTF transfer. On the DTF transfer, it doesn't matter if you use parchment paper or if you use the Teflon sheet. The result is going to be the same. Okay. So let's do about 20 seconds on this one too. You can go 10 seconds. Some people, like to do 10 seconds. I mean, that's fine. I like to go the full 20 seconds. And so this one's done. And this shirt can be delivered. Okay. So let's go check on the LeBron James shirt, and let me speed up the process by cooling it down in front of the fan, in front of the evaporative cooler, and we'll come back. Okay, so this gold metal has cooled down. We can peel it off. And I always like to give it a finishing press. It doesn't need it, but that's just me. I like to give it a finishing press. And I'm going to go about 10 seconds on that. And so there we go. That's the finished shirt. It looks awesome. It feels awesome. And I like to give this look, this mixed media look to some of these shirts, because it just adds a different dimension to it, and your customers will love it too. So there you go, white toner transfer with Caesar gold metal. Great look. And a DTF transfer with a solid print. Washability, excellent on these. The washability on this one, because it is a half-tone effect and it has a lot of negative space, it's going to be excellent too. Okay, so white toner for something like this, not for something like this. White toner is not going to stand, the abuse of washing it. So if you're doing white toner transfers on solid prints like this, it's not going to do well. Use DTF transfers for that. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, I gave you a little bit of insight on when to use white toner transfers, when to use DTF. We are currently not offering the DTF transfers. We probably won't in the near future, but I recommend that you find somebody local that can sell you 1 or 2 transfers at a time, so that you can give them a shot. Give them a shot and see how they work for you. We are back offering our white toner transfers, and so if you want to order some of those white toner transfers, go to our website and look for that. Remember to send us your images in PNG format, and you can read the description there and the requirements. If you want to learn how to do this halftone effect, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video of how I did this. Okay, so thank you very much. Hope you guys learned something. Remember to hit that subscribe button. I want to thank all the people that have subscribed since my last video. There were about, I think, 18 or 19 new subscriptions, so I thank you very much for that. Remember that our goal is to hit those 500 subscribers by the end of June 2022, so hopefully we get there. And in the meantime, think of any questions that you want to ask, and any processes or anything that you want to learn. And happy crafting.